Hey there and welcome back to my channel. So in this video we are diving deep into one of the more practical backend tasks. So in this video we're going to check out how to send emails from your Java and Spring Boot project. So whether you are building a notification system or onboarding flow or just want to automate updates, mastering email delivery is a must. We'll start with simple text email and then level up to HTML emails and with attachments, and finally inline images for rich formatting. I'll walk you through each setup step by step with code that you can copy, use, or tweak according to your projects. So without further ado, let's get started. So first we need to enable Gmail SMTP access. So for security reasons, you cannot use your regular Gmail password for third-party applications. So we must generate a app password for authenticating our Spring Boot application. So you need to head over to Google account, first enable your two-step verification and generate an app password for your application, and you can name it anything. I already have generated one name desktop over here, but you can name it anything that you like. But one thing that I'd like to mention here is once you choose a name for your application password and click on create, you will get a 16 character password, and this password is only shown once. So copy this password as you will be needing it in your Spring Boot project. This password replaces your Gmail login password for secure SMTP access. In the next step, you have to set up your Spring Boot project. So head over to Spring Initializer website and create a project. I will just add the dependency for Spring Boot starter mail. Also then I'll move ahead to application.properties file and add some configuration for mailing. First, I will add the host as smtp.google.com and the port as 587. Then I will add placeholder values as of now for username and the password, which you can replace with your original credentials and the app password that you just created. Or you can actually externalize these to a .env file too. After that, I will add spring mail properties.mail.smtp.auth equals to true. This actually tells the Spring that our SMTP server that we are going to use to send emails needs some basic authentication. And then I will also add spring mail properties.mail.smtp.starttls.enable equal to true. This will upgrade your plain SMTP connection to a more secure and encrypted one with transport layer security. This means that the content of your email and your credentials are protected. So now I'll be creating one service class and I'm going to call it as email service. And inside this email service, I'm going to leave the dependency for Java mail sender. So I'm going to create an object of Java mail sender and I'm going to use @autowired annotation so that IOC container automatically creates this object for me. And I'm going to create a method to send text email first. So this will be a simple email and not an HTML type email. So for this, I'm going to create a method and I'm going to call it as simple text email. And inside this method, I'm going to take in 3 parameters. First is string type 2, and then subject and body. And after this method declaration, inside I'm going to initiate a try catch block. But before, I think I should add a throws key and a messaging exception, since this service is going to send an email, so it might throw a messaging exception. Inside the method, I'm going to create the object for MIME message, and I'm going to use create MIME message method from Java mail sender object. And then I'm going to create the object of MIME message helper. This is going to help us create our message. So I'm going to use message and other parameter is going to be false, and then UTF-8. So this false basically tells the Spring Boot, the application, that there will be simple text and not an HTML. And simple text format supported is UTF-8. Then I'm going to also use my own email. So I'm going to use set from setter method and then set subject. But first I need to. So I'm going to use to. This will be coming from the controller. So I'm going to just pass to inside it, and also subject I'm going to do similarly. And then I'll be going to use set text. So set text, we will be passing in the body and false, since this is not HTML. And after this, the only thing left is to send the email. So Java mail center dot send, and I'm going to pass in the message inside this send method. So this is pretty much it. So we need to create a controller for this, and then we need to auto wire the email service dependency inside the controller. And after that, I'm going to create one endpoint over here for the API. So this will be returning the response entity of type string, and in the parameters I'm going to pass in request body as email request. I've created one DTO to actually take in the three parameters and pass it to the service layer. And also I'm going to annotate it with post mapping, and inside there will be path as send text email. Okay, let's do simple text mail. Okay, so inside this I'll be starting with a try catch block, and inside the try block I'm going to call in email service dot simple text email and email request dot get to, email request dot get subject, and email request dot get HTML body. So this is basically coming from the request body. Then I'm going to return response entity dot OK with a specific message saying text or text email sent successfully. So inside the catch block, I'm going to return response entity dot status. No, not OK. We'll be passing status and HTTP status. Let me remove this. HTTP status dot internal server error. Okay, great. Then also let's pass in the body, and inside the body let's pass in a message saying failed to send email. And let us also give e.get message, so we get a proper log of what really went wrong over here. And let me remove this unused imports first. This looks clean. Now what we need to do is we need to also create another service layer method to send email with attachments. I'm going to call it as send mail with attachments, and it will also throw a messaging exception. And I'm going to give the same three parameters over here of string type. First will be string 2, string subject, and string body, HTML body. And one more thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a map of type string, comma input source string. Input string source. And I'm going to call this map as attachments. So since we will be taking these PDFs or pictures or whatever that we need to send directly from the folder, I'm going to start with input string source over here, and then I'm going to write MIME message, and I'm going to create an object of MIME message with the help of Java mail sender dot create MIME message, and next I'm going to start with MIME message helper, and I'm going to create an object of MIME message helper and pass in the message MIME message object inside this. And also I'm going to pass true, because this is going to be an HTML mail, and also this is going to be a multi-part HTML mail, and the encoding we are using for text is UTF-8, so that remains as it is. Then after MIME message helper dot set from, I'm going to call in all the setters, and I'm going to pass the Gmail ID placeholder value for now. You can actually use the one that we have declared in the properties file with @value annotation and inject it over here. But for now, I'm just passing in the placeholder value. I'll be going to change it later. And then MIME message dot set text. So I'm going to pass HTML body, comma, true. And then I'm going to be attaching my files over here. So first I'm going to start with a for loop, and I'm going to use map.entry, and this map.entry is of type string, comma, input string source, and let's call this as entry, and this is going to be taking values from the attachment map dot entry set that we are basically creating an entry set from the existing map called attachments. And inside this for loop, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to just store the name of file name in a string from this entry set, and I'm going to just use entry.getKey to get the name of the file, and then I'm going to declare one input string source object with the help of entry.getValue. Then I'm going to call in MIME message helper at attachment file name, comma, source. So this input source we are going to be giving to add attachment of the MIME message helper object. Then after this for loop is done with, what we need to do is we need to send this mail. So I'm going to use Java mail center dot send message. So this looks pretty much perfect. Now we need to create the API endpoint for it. So I have head over back to the email controller, and inside this method that I've created called send email with attachments, I'm going to create a map of string and input string source key value pairs, and I'm also going to call this as attachments for now, and I'm going to initialize a hash map with it, and I'm going to call the put method of the map, and I'm going to put in the sample.pdf from over here, and I'm going to just directly give the address of it. So I'm going to use file system resource class object, and then I'm going to pass in the entire path for the PDF. So I'm specifying that over here. So this is done. I'm only passing in one simple PDF. So that is done. After that, I'm going to use email service dot send email with attachments. So I'm calling in the service layer method over here, and I'm going to use the method the getter methods to actually get all of it. So first I'm getting the mail to which I'm sending, and then the subject and HTML body. That is the entire email that we are sending. Oops, I think there will be commas here, not semicolons. So after that, I'm going to use attachments also. We used subject, body, and then attachments. Yeah, correct. So inside the catch block, before the catch block, let's return this response entity of type string. So basically, we'll be returning OK with a custom message. So I'm going to pass in email sent successfully. This is basically suggesting that everything went perfectly. I think I need to remove this Android line. Okay. Okay, we need to remove the name. Yeah, got it. After that, in the catch block, what I need to return is another response entity, and not OK this time. I'm going to pass status over here. And inside the status, I'm going to call HTTP status. Okay. Yeah, HTTP status dot internal server error. And then in the body, I'm going to pass in the message failed to send email, and also going to give one get message from the exception object so that we get clear idea of what happened. So now we need a method to actually add inline images to our email. So I'm going to call it as send email with inline image. And inside this, I'm going to pass in some parameters, which are basically to subject and HTML body, the same as before. And then I'm going to also send in a resource, and this resource will be an image. So I'm going to just call it as image resource. I think I misspelled resource over here, so I'm going to just correct it. Yeah. So after that, we are going to also send in a content ID. So why do we need content ID? Let's check out in a bit. First, I'm going to just actually organize them, and this method is also going to throw the messaging exception and IO exception. So I'm going to just add them quickly. There is an import error. Let me import this. Okay, done. And inside this, I'm going to start with MIME message. And I'm going to make use of Java mail sender dot create MIME message method. And then I'm going to go with my message helper. I'm going to create the object of my message helper, and I'm going to pass this my message inside it. And then I'm going to pass in true, because this will be a multi-part email. So that will be true. And then I'm going to use helper and the methods that are inside my message helper to set to and subject and HTML body. Now I'll add one more method to add images as inline image and not as attachment, and this will be coming from helper itself, and I'm going to write helper dot add inline. So what this does is it embeds the image directly inside the email, not as a separate attachment, and you have to assign a content ID in the header in the MIME message as well. So it takes care of that as well, and it makes it accessible via the CID tag, which we are going to use later. And then I'm going to just call Java mail center dot send MIME message. So I think this is done. So I'll move to email controller and create one more post type controller over here, endpoint over here. And I'm going to call it as send HTML email with inline image. And then I'm going to put the response entity with, okay, I think I forgot HTML over here, so let me add it real quickly. So response entity will be of type string over here because we just need the message basically. So send HTML email with image will be the name of our method. Now this method will accept some of the parameters, so I'm going to add at the request param annotation over here. And first will be 2, this will be the recipient's email ID. And then I'm going to add another request param for subject, and next we are going to add request param for HTML body. Then after that we are going to add another request param, and this will be an image basically. So I'm going to add in a resource, and this will be of type multi-part file, because we will be taking this from the user itself and not going to actually define a path that we'll be sending it from. We are going to upload it in Postman itself. Then I'm going to call in request param again for the content ID. After this also starts over here, and I'm going to bring in a catch block over here, and inside the catch I'm just catching an exception. So exception object I'm going to pass in here, and inside this try block what I'm going to do is I'm going to start basically with the resource, which is our image, and I'm going to create one byte array resource, and inside this byte array resource I'm going to pass in this image file, so it will accept the byte stream coming in and save it in the image. Okay, then I'm going to call in the email service and the method that we just created in the service layer, and I'm going to pass these parameters to it. These are subject, HTML body, and then image, and then content ID. So as I was saying, the content ID is basically a unique label for the image. When you want to embed a image directly into your HTML body, you make use of that. You actually need a way to reference that image within the HTML. That is where a content ID actually comes in. Rest of the things will be same as previous, so I'm just copying and pasting it there. Now one more thing, I've seen that I'm actually not injecting these values from the application.properties file, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to create one variable here. I'm going to call it as from email. This will be a string, and I'm going to use the @value annotation, and let me first import this. Okay, it's imported, and after this I'm going to add in the value from over there. So I'm going to type in dollar, and within the curly braces I'm going to paste the property that we have named over there, and now I can use this variable wherever I need the from email actually. So I'm going to add it there. Also I actually forgot it here, so I'm going to add it there as well. So since we are done with creating the email sending logic, and in the background I've actually changed the credentials to my Gmail and the app password that we generated. I was actually using placeholder values before, but for testing I'll actually change these. So I have already done that. So let's run this and test if it is working correctly. So our application is up and running. So I'll move to Postman, and therein I have already created two
requests. So the best way of getting the requests path and all is that you go to the controller, and on the mappings you actually click on this down arrow and generate the request in HTTP client. You can also run this request from here on only, but we will be doing this in Postman. So you just need to copy this, and then you need to go to the Postman, create a request of type post, and then paste this over here. And you can create one sample body as you like. I'm going to change this a bit. So I'm going to just change the subject of this request, and I'm going to click on send. So as you can see that I'm getting that text email was sent successfully. Let us go to our Gmail and verify that we have received this email. As you can see that I've got one email. Similarly, I'm going to test the other API endpoint, that is for the email with attachment. So I'm going to click on send, and here and we are actually attaching one single PDF, and the subject is your monthly report. So here also the email was sent successfully. So I'm going to check again if I have got that email. So yeah, I've got this email with the subject as your uh, report, and also there is this PDF. Let me download this and check if I have got it correctly. I'm going to just open it here in my browser itself. Let me close this. So yeah, this is a sample file. I've got the correct PDF with the correct format.
Let's also test our email with inline image. So I'm going to move to Postman, and now I'm going to actually first let's rename this. So I've just duplicated my existing request. I'm going to change it, and I'm going to quickly move to my email controller and copy it from this generate request in HTTP client. I'm going to paste it in Postman request. I'm going to save this. Now instead of body here, we are going to select form data in the body. So this will actually have key value pairs. The first key value pair will be to and the recipient email, and I'm going to just type in my other email ID, and then there will be a subject. So in subject you can actually give anything. I'm just going to give hello over here, or let's actually do a better one. So we're going to type in welcome, or let's type in inline image test. That will be a more suitable subject. Then the third will be the HTML body, and fourth will be our image, and this will be of type file instead of text. So inside the inside the HTML body, we are going to actually paste in the whole HTML that we want to send. So in this HTML, we're going to add a body, and inside there will be one heading that is welcome, and then I'm going to use image tag over here, and inside this I'm going to add source as cid/logo123.png. Now this cid means content id, and this will be this will actually tell the client browser to take the one with cid logo123, and then it will render it there and not as an attachment. So I'm just going to close this HTML, and now one more thing that we need is content ID. So the text over here will be logo123 dot logo123, not with the extension. And now I'm going to actually add the file, image file over here. So let's take an image here, and then I'm going to click on send. It will take some time, but yeah, you can see that the email has been sent, and I'm going to quickly verify if it has come. So you can see it is there. And that's a wrap on mastering email sending with Spring Boot. We have covered plain text, we have covered HTML formatting, attachments, and inline images as well. These are all the essentials to make your app communicate like a pro. If this helped you out, drop a like, share it with your dev circle, and subscribe for more backend magic. So, if you have any questions or want to see a follow up on templating or email queues, let me know in the comment section. I read every one of those comments. So, until next time, keep building and keep learning.